like when you're having to deal with situations in the OR, are you around a lot of blood?
Yeah, yeah. So me personally, again, in my procedures, they're minimally invasive, but every case I'm going to be seeing blood, um, in the most part of it. Yeah.
Okay. I actually had a person hit me up. They wanted to know a little bit more about medical device sales, and they are scared. They're in the interview process, but they have a fear of blood. And I was just kind of thrown back by that because, you want to get into medical device, let alone, probably ortho, which is typically what people can get into as an associate, and you're afraid of blood. And I was just kind of thinking, I can't really answer that question on whether or not you're going to be successful in it. But like, if let's say that this was you,
Yep.
so that maybe other people that might have some kind of fear, how would you go about trying to figure out if you'd be able to do this job?
Yeah. Well, we talked a little bit off air, like about just reaching out to people who are doing it, seeing what they see, and then maybe asking about like a field ride or something, so you could experience it because, like we talked about, each division is going to be different. But like I've been in cases where it's like if you're an ortho, you watch them literally cut the ball off the shoulder. You smell like when they're like doing stuff, right? Like when they're cauterizing blood and stuff, which again, this is getting gruesome. But like if you can't handle that, I don't know if you should be in the OR. Same with me. Like I do procedures where it's like if you can't handle seeing blood and sometimes like feces, and sometimes like the smell is not the greatest, like I don't know if this is something that you should do because otherwise you won't be able to do the job that you're there to do. You know what I mean?
Dude, you're bringing up smells, and literally what's wild is I haven't been in the OR in a minute, but a smell that you will never forget is a diabetic wound.
Yeah.
Dude, those things are bad, and it's wild how like you don't know that those are the things that you're going to walk into until you actually walk into it. Nobody tells you about these
Yeah.
things.
No, exactly. Well, and again, this isn't to be gruesome, but like I've always talked about, like back in the day, man, I hunted, so like I deer hunted, duck hunted, goose hunted. I'd shoot a deer and I'd clean it. Like I field dress it, right? So like I was the same dude where I'd one literally 5 minutes before be cleaning a deer, I come in and wash my hands, I eat dinner. You know what I mean? It was just like
Hmm.
what I did and what we did, right? In animals, right? We'd go fillet the ducks or whatever we hunted, turkeys, and I can eat no problem. There's some people I know, you say you even mention that they can't eat for the next 3 hours and they're like, I might faint, right? If that's the case, I don't know where you're seeing literally body function, body fluids, organs. If you have trouble just thinking about that, if this is a career for you in that division, correct? Right? Like you could go into the office spaces where you're not seeing any of that. But like that's something I think every candidate should consider. And you got to know yourself. And if you don't know, be reaching out to people and try to get yourself just in processes. Because I'll just be honest, if you're freaking out before you even get into it, I can't imagine by the time you get into the OR and you see some of the things you see, it goes great for you.
Yeah, for this person, I highly suggested. I was like, you either if device is what you want to get into, you need to pick something that's endoscopy, most likely, because the blood that you're going to see is within the body. It's not like it's actually falling out of the body. You're not watching these wounds get put back together.
Yep.
And or like you could do sports medicine probably. They do a lot of injections compared to at least from what I saw, they did a lot of injections, or just go into
Well,
pharmaceuticals. Like
pharma
just like you said,
also
office work where you're gonna.
it's like like I always bring up like you could do Medline, D Royal. I just got a girl hired with D Royal, which is the same as Medline. That's selling medical equipment. It's like the Amazon for hospitals, right? You could be selling. I see people who come in and they sell the stirrups, right? For like for women that are doing a certain procedure where they have to put their legs up, right? They sell literally just the stirrups, or they're selling a new capital equipment. Like there's a million different things where you don't have to be in watching a surgery at all. So like there are those
Mhm.
in there, but it's those are a little different than you would think in certain medical device and um, just what